Legally Speaking with me, Tarun Nangia. It's a happy time at the Delhi High Court. And there is a reason to be happy. With the recent appointments, up to 9 judges who've been appointed, the strength of Delhi High Court is now 44 out of a total required strength of 60. And we all hope in the future there'll be some more appointments and the strength of the Delhi High Court will be 50, which brings very good news for the administration of justice. Delhi High Court is a commercial hub, and everybody from corporates to GCs to lawyers, they all look forward to increased strength. And of course, it goes without saying that from New York to London, all capitals watch what happens in Delhi. And Delhi High Court is tracked by the judgments they give, the orders that are passed have reverberations not in India, but globally. Of course, because Delhi is a commercial hub and a lot of litigation happens here. It is taken cognizance of in various financial capitals of the world, be it Hong Kong, Singapore, be it London or New York. And it is good news when we have these new, I would like to take some names. Recently, Chief Justice Vipin Sanghi administered the oath of office when he was Chief Justice before transfer to Justice Tara Vista Ganju, Mini Pushkarna, Vikas Mahajan, Tushar Rao Gedela, Manmeet Pritam Singh Arora, Sachin Datta, Amit Mahajan, Gaurang Kant, and Saurabh Banerjee. They all took oath of office. They have all now judges of the Delhi High Court. We welcome them and look forward, in a sense, at Legally Speaking, to debating on their judgments, discussing the orders that they pass. But I would like to welcome my panel today. Joining me today are Senior Advocate Rajiv Nair, goes without saying, a top counsel at the Delhi High Court. Good to see you today and looking forward to interesting interventions from you. I have with me Justice Rajiv Sahai and law. It's a pleasure to have somebody who served on the bench at Delhi High Court. And good to see you again, Justice Endlaw. Yep. And looking forward to some inputs. Advocate Saket Sikri, practice at the Delhi High Court and also the Supreme Court. Some inputs from you and the appointments that have happened. Of course, you are happy because many more judges, many more opportunities to argue, because obviously shortage of judges is a problem that has been plaguing the system for the past few years, and Delhi has bucked that trend with these recent appointments. But to lay the ground, may I request Justice Endlaw in about the next 2.5 minutes to give his opening comment before we move
on. Administration of justice, which you touched, that's a directive principle of the state. So the state is required by Article 39A to provide an effective judicial system for the country. Now, to provide an effective judicial system, the number of judges is a very important element. And it is not as if the number of judges in any high court is at the ipsy dixie of the Chief Justice or the law minister or somebody. Article 216 of the Constitution of India provides that each high court shall have a Chief Justice and such number of judges as the President of India may deem fit. Now, the Supreme Court touched upon this issue of strength of judges in a corollary to the SP Gupta case, which was the judges' appointment case, that how the judges are to be appointed. And they went to the extent of saying that the number of judges or the strength of the High Court judges is justiciable in court. So if it is felt that the number of judges are inadequate, a petition can be filed in the court for the judges to examine that whether there is a need for review. And Supreme Court in the same judgment laid down a formula. Each High Court has a prescribed number of permanent judges and a prescribed number of additional judges. So the Supreme Court prescribed the formula that how the number of the strength of the permanent judges and the strength of additional judges is to be determined. So unfortunately, in spite of the strength having been prescribed since about, I think 2009 or 2010 at 60, of the Delhi High Court, that is 45 permanent judges and 15 additional judges. The Delhi High Court has never seen that strength till now. So this is what I would like the debates to begin with. Thank you.
Thank you for that opening comment, Justice Endlaw. I'll go to Senior Advocate Rajiv Nair. Now, you've been practicing at the Delhi High Court since I think there were 6 judges in Delhi High Court, and you've seen it grow. You have grown in stature and absolute top counsel at Delhi High Court, but you have seen the growth of this court. And that's why this moment is, I know, very special for you. 9 judges have been appointed, few more will be appointed. Your opening comment on this occasion.
Thank you, Tarun, for having me on the show. But actually, Justice Endlaw will remember that the only time we had almost nearly a full strength of judges was when he was appointed. So at that time, if I'm not mistaken, there were more than 40 judges with a sanctioned strength being less than what it is today. It was almost a full complement. So somehow or the other, over the years, we have found that in Delhi, there's been a lot of resistance to lawyer appointments. And there have been lawyer appointments in driblets. But whereas there's been lots of appointments from the subordinate judiciary over the past few years, so there's been a bit of imbalance, which seems to now have been restored in a way by the present appointment of these 9 judges. And 9 judges is a very big number, because Justice Endlaw will bear me out that I don't think ever there has been more than appointment of 5 to 6 judges at one go. So we've actually, if you look at these 9 and you look at 6 of the subordinate court, so almost 1/3 of the judges are new appointees. It bodes very well for the institution, and actually it's a full marks to Justice Ramanna, because he has been advocating that he'll fill in as many vacancies as possible. And we are finding that if you see across the board, there's been lots of appointments all over the high courts, not only Delhi, but in every high court, there's been a spate of appointments, with the result that obviously it affects pendency, it bodes well for the system, because I think it doesn't show well for the system that a litigant comes again and again and is told, please come after 3 months, come after 4 months. As they say in Hindi, Tariq pe Tariq.
It's very, and I'll tell you who, because see, you represent some of the most high-stake litigation at Delhi High Court, involving stakes of hundreds or maybe thousands of crores. And the interest costs are going up. There are many other variables. So delay, of course, is expensive. But
let me interrupt you, Tarun. The rich man always gets his case heard first. It's actually a sad reflection on a system. But the important cases are always decided first.
So I get your point that it's for larger good. When there are more appointments, even the weakest guy, in a sense, who can't afford any, we will benefit. Good point. I'll go to Advocate Saket Sikri. Mr. Sikri, I remember doing a show with you on, I think, the IP division at Delhi High Court recently. And you said that, with these things, Delhi High Court stands out. Now, with these more appointments, do you think there is more room to experiment with new kind of, what's your opening comment on this issue?
Thanks for having me on the show, Tarun. I'll begin by congratulating the 9 new judges that have been appointed recently.
Yes.
I believe Mr. Nair is right. I think first time in the history of the High Court, 9 lawyers have been appointed to the bench. Now, each one of them they will add their experience, and it will add to the richness of the bench. 3 of them are senior advocates having diverse practice. Some of them are experts on the original side who've been appointed. Some of them are, judges who are lawyers who were representing the government at high stake matters. And some of them were writ lawyers. So there is a diverse, there were diverse fields from where they all come and represent. And I believe each one of them will add to the bench. Apart from that, we must not forget that these 9 have come now. There were 3 appointments to the Delhi High Court in October last year, 2 of them from Allahabad and 1 from Chennai, Madras High Court. So, and 2 of them even before that. So the last 2 years, we have seen a good number of around 14 judges from the bar who have come to this court. So I believe it will add to the richness of the bench. It will be beneficial for everyone. Like Mr. Nair said, yes, rich men's case do get heard first, but with the increase in the strength, I believe everybody should be heard and will be heard. There will be more opportunities for young lawyers like me to argue. Of course, Mr. Nair represents all, but at the same time, I believe with these new judges, there can be a great opportunity for the specialized benches, as we discussed in the last course of it. We had the show on IPD and how IPD has been enriched. Now, you see the difference. When we did the show on IPD, there were 2 judges on the IPD. With the coming of the 9 judges this time, the judges' strength in the IPD has also increased. So there are 3 judges on the IPD. There are 9 division benches as against 4 or 5 division benches. Even the writ work, there's the work for writ sides, etc., have been divided between benches. Appeals are heard on various, there are years on which appeals can be heard. So everything is getting divided. We see the difference. The work is happening more. The High Court looks more busy, and we feel some happier and good times ahead.
I agree with everything you say, Advocate Saket Sikri, except for the age part. I think you don't qualify to be young anymore. But but let me go to Justice Endlaw at this point. So you are truly regarded as, in a sense, held in high regard with your tenure at the Delhi High Court, rightly so. And that's why I want to ask this question to you, that Delhi High Court has been known for acting and some, in a sense, attracting some of the best talent as judges. And you have seen this court grow. And though we wouldn't like to compare courts with courts, but among the courts, Delhi High Court is always regarded as one of the best, and also showing path with, path-breaking judgments, be it on constitutional law or commercial. What makes this court the way it is? And how come this court ends up attracting the kind of talent that it has in the past 2-3 decades?
Mr. Nangia, before I answer, I would like to place on record my disagreement with what Mr. Nair said, that rich people always get heard. The listing of the Delhi High Court is depending upon the age of the matter. So the judge starts taking up the list as per the oldest matter first. So Mr. Nair gets heard, but I won't say that the rich people get heard. Now, coming back to what you said, see, when you say that Delhi High Court attracts the best talent, if we are talking in those terms, then let's not forget that as of today and for the last about 1.5 decade or a little more, Delhi High Court has also had one of the best bars. When I say best bar, I mean on an average. An average lawyer, there are of course bright stars in every high court or in every district, but Delhi High Court has very good lawyers and who have exposure to very good environment in the Delhi High Court. We have a sense of competition. We have a sense of guiding each other. We have a sense of learning from each other. In fact, most of the young lawyers are informed to sit in the courts or to chase the good counsels who make a good argument and learn from their arguments wherever they are addressing. So naturally, when on an average the High Court has good lawyers, they only get appointed. The old saying goes that the bar is the mother of the bench. So when the mother is good, so the progeny is bound to be good. But otherwise, if I may say so, see, it's not necessary that if between 2 lawyers, a better lawyer is picked, he'll necessarily make a better judge. The Constitution has placed the procedure for appointment of judges and as interpreted by the Supreme Court, there is a body which selects the judges. Now, that body looks whatever is within its ambit, and while selecting, it's not necessary that the candidate is a good advocate. They also have to see whether the candidate has a potential to be a good judge. So between two advocates, the better one may not be picked up as a judge, because the collegium may feel that the other person, though not as good a lawyer, would make a better judge. And then again, you see, the thing is that unfortunately, the collegium gets a chance to look at one market only. They don't get a chance to look at other markets. If you go to, say, Khan market, you will pick the best from amongst that. And you would not know, maybe there are better things available in Krishna Nagar or in Rohini. So the unfortunate part is that the district courts, where also there are some very good lawyers, they simply, because they don't come within the eyesight of the collegium, they do not get picked. And about attracting, yes, Delhi High Court judgeship gives a lot of satisfaction. So I think any member of the bar would love to put his imprimatur on the issues which are being faced, to have his voice heard. As a lawyer, you can do this much, but you cannot decide. You can maybe lead to that decision, but you are always not the author. Some judges give credence to the lawyers, others don't. So in the long run, after money has been made, a lot of people may be willing.
Yes.
The advantage of judgeship is that you get a chance to earn, and then you get a chance to do something what the way you want it to be done. I'll just end with one thing which a senior retired judge had told me when I became a judge. He said, now go and do whatever you thought we were doing wrong. So that was a very good advice he gave, and which I followed, and I think I mentioned it earlier also in one of your shows. So that way Delhi High Court remains good, and amongst the judges also the same thing, that if the judge sees that all the other judges are working very hard, they put in late hours, they read the files, they sit prepared on the bench, there is you don't want to be called the odd one out.
Yes.
So that's
when the standards are so high, you have to keep up. That's a good point you made. From now, Justice Endlaw, we go to Senior Advocate Rajiv Nair. Sir, you have now seen, since I said 6 judges at Delhi High Court, and now we're talking of 60. So your tenure as a practicing advocate has seen judges going tenfold the capacity. You get the opportunity to argue before them whenever the new ones come. Of course, in these new ones also, what in your view has contributed to it making the court that it is? There is a lot of scrutiny, I feel, because Delhi High Court judges, whatever comment they make, whatever judgment they give, the whole world media attention is there. So, I mean, it may be so that they get a lot of more coverage and attention, and that is why the achievements are also highlighted more. But of course, there is a flip side to too much scrutiny, that everything is highlighted, even you're in Delhi. So I want your comment from that angle also, because you represent some of the most high stakes matters in these courts. And of course, there is a scrutiny for every big matter. How Delhi High Court is different in your view from other courts? And secondly, as I asked Justice Endlaw, why in your view, both Bombay and Delhi, I must say, attracts very good talent?
Tarun, the reason for that is obvious. The reason is that Bombay and Delhi has the most commercial litigation. And the lawyer who's practiced extensively in commercial litigation, if he's elevated as a judge, obviously will perform much better than a judge. I'm not naming any other court, but I went to one high court and he had not even heard of Section 45 of the Arbitration Act, which says that if there's an arbitration agreement, you will be referred to arbitration. So I'm not finding fault with him, but obviously he never had any occasion to practice. He never had occasion to see that. So Justice Ando is right that in the sense of in Delhi, we are finding that there's an abundance of good people who've practiced in all fields, who should be eligible. But it's a very difficult decision because, you can't certainly make somebody from exclusively practicing from the district court a judge of the High Court. It may not be. But like, for instance, it's certainly a man with sound civil practice like Justice Enlow. I mean, I remember we had to force him to become a judge because he was doing so well. But I was one of those who was fortunate enough to persuade him. And he did a great job because he's so solid on civil law, like his father was, who was also should have been considered to be made a judge. But, so therefore, in Delhi, you have specialization. And every judge can fit in somewhere or the other because he's actually practiced everywhere. He's done writs, he's done civil, may not have done criminal, but basic criminal like quashing, etc., flows from really a civil action. So if a person or lawyer or judge is good in civil law, he'll be able to grasp criminal law very easily. I think the fine thing about Delhi is that it has diverse talent and abundance of work. So that's the combination which makes it a vibrant.
Talent and abundance of work is what Senior Advocate Rajiv. Advocate Saket Sikri, now you see some of the best talent that works alongside you at the bar now being elevated to the bench, and you see them making this choice. And in a sense, how does it feel? Because Delhi, as such, as I said, also with Senior Advocate Rajiv Nair, is a focus of attention. What judgments are delivered here are discussed in world capitals. And it goes without saying, it happens all the time. What is different in the character of Delhi High Court? And why, in your view, it's been attracting consistently the best talent in the past 2-3 decades, as we have seen?
Yeah, so I remember a couple of years back, I was opposing a lawyer who had come down from Madhya Pradesh, I believe Jabalpur High Court, to argue before the Delhi High Court. And of course, he was heard, orders were passed, and he came out and said that it appears that Delhi High Court is heaven for anyone who is ready to argue. Every judge will hear you. All you need to do is be prepared, which shows the character of this court. Like Mr. Nair said, diversity. I'll add one more facet to it, merit and merit alone. Today, out of the 45 judges, you will actually, if you see the names of the judges, you will have judges from various states, perhaps belonging to various states, whether from southern part of the country or the northern part of the country, etc. So this just shows diversity. Anyone who comes to Delhi, litigation is of high quality. Litigation is commercial in nature. There is fabulous civil litigation. All sorts of various facets of law are discussed every day in various courtrooms. What really works here is merit and merit alone. If you are hardworking, if you can prove yourself, you will make it where you are. Therefore, that leads to a lot of competition amongst lawyers at various levels. Even at the top senior advocates, there are so many good choices we have, starting, of course, Mr. Nair being one of the topmost here. But along with that, also there are choices. And therefore, every tier of age group, of seniority, you will find competition. You will find multiple options because each one is good. Everyone is hardworking. That is the talent. Some of them eventually go and on the bench, which is obvious that if such a good talent with so much merit, working hard, working in diverse jurisprudence or diverse, rosters or benches of this court, will on the bench, obviously he'll prove to be a great judge. So this is one very important facet, what I feel and will always say about the Delhi High Court, that it is merit and merit alone that works here. You have to work hard, you have to make your point. And I think Justice Andlaw wants to.
No. After you finish.
I'm so sorry.
I was saying Mr. Nangia should ask Mr. Nair, why was he not attracted?
Good one.
I could come to terms with a chain flush.
So that is one part. Now, today we have 44 nearing the completion of the strength, which has which shows us 9 division benches, various single judges, as I pointed out, various judges hearing writs of different facets. Just a few months back, there was one judge who was loaded with the writs. The judge would sit till 5:36. Now that roster gets divided by between 2 or 3 judges. The matter gets done. Today only I was appearing in some bench before the High Court. Matters were being disposed of. They were taken up, older matters, 5-year-old matter, 8-year-old matter. So with more judges, we will see more disposal with a concerted effort of all. If we today at 45 see this, with 60, if we ever achieve 60, which I sincerely hope someday we will see the disposal rate going much above. And as usual, our High Court, being the best, will continue to be the best. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment. And we really hope for the day when Delhi High Court operates at full strength, if only for a few years at least, because we want to see what, in a sense, a world of difference that it will make. But going that in Justice Ramana's times, we have seen appointments speed up. We hope that this trend continues. There was a lull in between, but now the good news is that appointments are finally happening. We hope that 3-4 more appointments happen in Delhi High Court. We at least go to 50 is what we look forward to. But I would like to thank Justice Rajiv Saya and Law, Senior Advocate Rajiv Nair, and Advocate Sakit Sikri for making time and joining me on this important show where we chronicle, as we do always, the journey of the Delhi High Court and the important landmark events. This, of course, with 9 appointments was a very important landmark event. We hope for a few more appointments. Thank you, viewers, for joining in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.